Hello, and welcome to episode 9 of the Panoptic Gamers podcast. On this episode, Vera and I will be talking about PAX East 2015. We'll be talking about some of the games that we saw there, some of the panels that interested us, and so much more. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions for the show, drop us a line on our Facebook page, Twitter, or at snap2cover.com. Stay tuned to Snap to Cover for more videos and posts. Thanks for listening, and enjoy the show.
It's basically a board game night based on horrible games. So, of course, Cards Against Humanity, which I'm getting a little sick of, honestly. You know, everybody plays that game. It's like, okay, you guys can do a little better than that.
Yeah, then, I'm kind of getting sick of that game, too.
And then, well, there's some versions coming out, or there's like one that's Never Have I Ever. And we played this at PAX, and it's like Never Have I Ever. And it's like admitting things you really don't, you sometimes really don't want to admit.
Right.
Because it is Never Have I Ever, just with Cards Against Humanity like cards.
Right.
To admit to. You know?
Yeah. The game seemed interesting. I saw you guys playing it.
So, that's definitely a game you wanna probably drink before doing.
Yeah? Less
judgment will happen that way.
I see. Well, yeah, I mean, most of those games are drinking games, so...
Yeah.
Like Cards Against Humanity, I mean, you kind of have to be in a large party of people and drinking in order for that to just go on and have fun, you know?
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. But there was some other games at PAX that we played, right? Played some other ones, right?
Do you not remember any of the other ones you played?
Well, I'm pretty sure we played some other games. I mean, I bought Takanoko.
Takanoko?
Yeah.
You were so bad at saying that game before.
Yeah, I know. But now I have
it.
See, now I have my eyesight is fixed on it, so I can read it from here.
We were at the booth, and you were looking straight at the game. You're like, Takakaiden. Like, what?
Well, there is a game called Takkaido.
Takkaido.
It's a different game.
I'm like, did you even look at the letters? You just saw that it had a T in it.
Well, yeah.
And then you just said a word.
Yeah, I said some semblance of Japanese.
Takkaido. Oh, they're all the same words. Same thing.
I'm not gonna go that far, but
such a racist.
Yeah, so it was good. So I bought that game at PAX, and we played it the other day. It was a lot of fun.
Well, we've played it before. We know how it is. We know how to play that game.
Yeah, no, but I played it with Rachel when we got home.
You just cut some bamboo, man.
Yep.
Cut the right kinds of bamboo.
You gotta nom that bamboo. Like, nom it hard. And actually, I found that if you take the nom cards, or the panda cards, and just stack those, eventually you'll just hit some really high points. And I feel like the panda is like the easiest one to kind of crank out.
You just hit supreme panda, just panda points.
Yeah, you just go for the panda cards.
Optimal nommage.
Like full nommage.
Yeah.
Just go full nommage, and you'll win.
I'm sure there's some, like, advanced strategies with that, you know, because, like, for one thing, people are going to pick up that the nomming is probably the most best way to get things, and then you're going to be competing for the panda.
Yeah.
So, you know, high traffic with the panda usage, you know, it's just like, well, maybe you ought to do something else.
Yeah, but you get a lot of points.
Yeah, but those points, if other people are competing for those points, you're not going to get those points.
I suppose.
You gotta go where there's not so much demand.
So there's probably different strategies for different numbers of players. So if you're only playing against one person, you just go nuts on the nom. And then if there's a lot of players, then you just diversify. Yeah.
So PAX. God, we did a lot and very little at PAX.
Yeah. PAX East 2015.
2015. We get old. Like, pretty much. Like, I definitely did not go balls to the wall this year. You know, we did, me and my friend, Benny, he was on this podcast at one point did. He was the one who talked about Hearthstone. Yeah, that's what he did. We went to the Blizzard panel. You know, we got there super early, and like, what was it? We got there 8:30.
Yeah.
Something ridiculous. And we were 1,200 in line.
Wow.
Yep.
Wait, so how did you get in so early? Because
doors open at 8.
Oh, okay. Because it looked like doors open at like 9 or 10.
Doors open at 8, and then you can wait in the queue at any of the queues. You can wait at the main queue, or you can wait at the panels by that time. Okay. You know, because it would take much longer than an hour to get everybody in if they all arrived at 9.
Right.
There's like
So what went on at this panel? So like, what did they say at the Blizzard panel?
Well, I mean, we were mainly there for Hearthstone because we played that almost every day, and now that Minecraft has taken over my entire life again, I don't. We went there and we saw. They started off with Overwatch, and they introduced 2 new characters. One was a pretty much Dirty Harry, or actually it was Clint Eastwood with the Western Clint Eastwood.
Okay.
I can't remember that character's name. Oh my god, it's gonna kill me. Basically, they went through like every move that he went through, and then they showed him his like ultimate, which was essentially just overpowered. It was like a 3-second channel, and then it would lock onto everybody's head who was in view, and just take them all out. They would just get one shot.
Really?
Yeah.
Seems kind of overpowered.
So the speaker's like, and this is a special, and this is what it does, and I know you probably all going to think it's like super goddamn overpowered, but this is an alpha, and it's not even an alpha. So
okay,
you know what? This is what it does right now. And then they showed it, and we're like, yep, that's beyond overpowered. And then they introduced a female tank who was like Russian.
Okay.
Who would be able to put protection on other people and did a lot of close range damage and got into the fray and stuff.
Okay.
I can't quite remember what her ultimate was, but I guess it wasn't that interesting. And then they went over to Heroes of the Storm. And they basically just kind of spewed out statistics on what were the best champions at the moment and so forth, and talking about it like it was a very fair game. And I was like,
okay,
that's sort of BS to me.
What did they think was the best? Like, what did they think was the best character?
Currently, the most winning character right now is the Lost Vikings.
The Lost Vikings. Okay, from WoW.
Yeah, they're from WoW. It's a brand new character. It's actually like a 3 characters in one kind of deal where you switch them out.
Oh, okay. So what kind of abilities do they have?
I have no idea. I've never played them, and they didn't go over that.
I've only really played Raynor and some of the other like Diablo characters.
The biggest criticism I have with that whole game is that the game is decided within 5 minutes.
Yeah,
you know? Because
it steamrolls very easily.
It steamrolls incredibly easy. Like one team will start taking a lead by a single level, in one level early game, and it's just like they have the advantage. They have the advantage, and they just steamroll quickly.
Well, that's because like even if you have a team of 5 players, if one of them is steamrolling, then the whole team steamrolls because of it. Because of the shared experience.
Well, exactly. It's because like it's not exactly that if one team steamrolls, like one member isn't going to steamroll and carry the team for you, but it's more that there's a threshold. The second they gain a level is a giant leap in an advantage. Like you can be in the middle of a team fight and they all have another level on you, and it's a huge advantage instead of just one person.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, so it's gigantic. And it's such a hard thing that people don't understand that the experience is dealt by proximity to minions dying. So you have to be there. You have to spread your team out and just farm as many minions as possible to get to dig yourself out of that advantage or that hole.
Okay.
Anyway, so games in Heroes of the Storm often are decided within 5 minutes. You know, you have like 5 minutes of actual real like back and forth, and then it's just a slow 10 to 20 minute lose.
Well, I mean, every time that I've played, it's kind of been... I don't think it's been so much of a blowout every time.
It's never a blowout. It's never a blowout. It's just but it's an inevitable like a war of attrition where you just feel like you're always losing the engagements, and you're just giving and giving and giving until eventually you lose.
Okay.
You know, and there's never like a point where you think you're going to win again. That's the killer for me.
Oh, I don't know. I've come back from losing before.
It's possible. It's just rare.
I don't know. It's fun from time to time. It's more of a casual thing than anything else.
You're allowed to just flat out disagree with me here, Jeff.
No, I mean,
I mean, you're just like,
I kind of am. I mean, I'm like, I don't see why I don't really see it as much of a steamroll as you say it is.
Okay.
I think it's more of just a casual, play, and I don't know. It's not as frustrating as LoL. At least I don't think.
It's more because of LoL, I care more about whether winning or losing in that game. In this one, it's just like...
Well, also, people get a lot more butthurt in LoL than than Heroes of the Storm.
You gotta understand, they don't allow it in Heroes of the Storm. They even have, like... They don't allow all chat. There's no cross-team communication whatsoever.
Right.
Those people could be computers for all you know.
Right.
And, Blizzard is very, very big on limiting competitive communication. You know, Hearthstone, you can emote. That's it. That's all you can do is emote.
Yeah, but why would you... There's no way to be competitive or, there's no teammates or anything like that. It's just you and another person.
Yeah, in Hearthstone, and you can't talk to them. You can't talk to the other person. That's my point.
Oh, I see. Okay.
They limit any sort of competitive communication. Anybody who is at odds with you, they won't let you talk to them.
Right.
You know.
Why do you think that is? I feel like that seems counterproductive.
Because people are bastards. You don't. Yeah, that's just the gist of it. And like when you're behind a wall of internet, you're easily, you love. Admit it. You'd love to taunt someone that you're just destroying.
I don't take pleasure in that, Vero.
Yeah,
like some people.
Well, 80% of the world's population who uses internets and then uses multiplayer games does, and you are a minority.
Yep, I get mad at people when they get mad at me.
Anyway, people, it's in the general behavior of human beings to do this asshole behavior.
I mean, I enjoy criticism that is constructive, which is nice. So if someone tells me, oh, you could do this to be better, I'd be like, oh, okay, I'll try that. But if someone's like, dude, you suck, never play this game again, you should just uninstall it, I'd be like, okay, shut the hell up. Thanks for helping me.
I don't even
be a better player.
When I play with you guys on League, I don't even bother. I don't bother giving any criticism whatsoever, because all I get is, oh, yeah, okay, I know. And I'm done with that.
Okay.
Anyway. Yeah. So, what was it? And they ended with Hearthstone, and they talked about how they're coming out with a new expansion, which should be... The pre-order begins March 17th. I believe. I did not write this down.
But you have to pay for it?
There's an expansion that will come out. It's an adventure expansion. It's Blackrock. It's the Dark Iron Dwarves.
Okay.
Yeah, Mountain. Yeah, it's Blackrock Mountain, because they're doing the Spire and the Ragnaros area too. So the Dragon area and the Ragnaros.
Right.
And it's going to have, like the Naxxramas, it's going to bring out all the Dark Iron Dwarf mechanics, and so mostly dragon mechanics, which is an interesting mechanic. What it is that a certain non-dragon card will get like much like the Tinker in Gold. Oh my God, Goblins and Gnomes.
Okay.
Where he like will get a +1/+1 bonus if a mech is out on the board. What happens with this is that if certain cards, if a dragon is in your hand, not on the board but in your hand, then that card will get a bonus of some sort.
Okay.
So that allows you as a person to get a very cheap buff, but it also reveals to the opponent that there is a dragon of some sort in his hands.
Right. So I don't know, that seems kind of weird. Like, why would you want to reveal that you have a dragon? Just for the buff?
Because you would get that bonus of like a +1/+1 damage or something to that effect.
Okay,
increase the value of the
So
card.
are there like different kinds of dragons that do different things, I'm assuming?
Oh yeah, all kinds.
Okay, so like you could have like a 1/1 dragon, or like are all dragons kind of like OP?
So far, almost all the dragons are pretty powerful.
Okay.
But they're also late game, so it's like, if you have a dragon, if you play like an early card that does a dragon reveal, it doesn't reveal what kind of dragon you have, of course. It just will say, yeah, he's got a dragon.
Oh, so you can't force a player to discard a dragon or something like that?
No, there's no such thing as that.
Oh, there should be a card that lets you... Because, like, then you could say, okay, well, if he's going to do that, then he has a dragon, I'm going to play this and force him to discard it.
No.
That'd be cool.
No
because that'd be like a counter to that.
There are no cards that offer any sort of... that force the opponent to discard.
Really? Aren't there cards like that in Magic?
Oh yeah, but this isn't Magic.
I know, but it's similar to Magic.
Similar, but not the same. And one thing that Hearthstone does is it was designed on the ground floor to be a computer game, as opposed to a card game. It's an electronic card game. So they've made it with random mechanics and so forth, where Magic has no real random mechanics.
Okay.
And the mechanics that do exist for Magic are not used and or gimmicky, if they are ever random. Most of those are the weird they made a few two editions that were cheat editions. They're joke editions, and those have a lot of random mechanics in them.
Oh, okay.
Or there was I don't know, what was it? There was Make a Wish or something like that, and it's play this card, then tear it in half. Or tear it into
little pieces and you throw it up, right?
Then you throw it onto the game board, and then anything that those pieces touch is destroyed.
That's pretty cool. But then you get rid of the card itself, and
yeah, it was a joke card.
So how many of those were made? Because I feel like those could be pretty rare.
They were, again, I don't know the whole what they're called. There were two cards, Unhinged, I think, was one of them, but and so that means that there's 150 150 cards, types, and I don't know, however many they sold.
Was it a blue card?
I don't know this. This is something. This is
This is beyond your knowledge base.
This is beyond my wisdom.
Beyond your pay grade.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool. All right. So Hearthstone.
Mm-hmm.
So there's going to be a expansion pack for that. So does that include way more cards, and do you have to pay for that? And
well, okay. So it's the same way with Naxxramas. It's every wing will be 700 gold, and I think that they're going to give you the first wing for free. But I can't verify that again. They did that with Naxxramas where they gave you the first wing.
Oh, okay.
But every wing will be 700 gold, or you pay for it, which is $7.
Do you think they're going to add new classes anytime soon to it?
No.
No? Because, they could have a Death Knight class. Because they don't have that.
They could do that, but that would require, so what you're asking for is every class at the moment has its own card set, its own card base.
Right.
And they would have to then make cards, a card base for that class, and then they would have to make more cards based on all the other previous class cards that they released with all the other expansions.
Yeah.
It would just be the longer every time, it would just be a bigger task every time they tried to the longer they go without adding a new class. It would be a very big deal if they added a class, and it would mix up the entire meta.
Well, yeah, but that's that's like expansion size content.
Yeah, you're talking about a game that's been out for a year.
Yeah.
How long did it take World of Warcraft to add a new class?
I don't know. I'm sure they had a timeline.
I think the first time they added a new class was Death Knight.
Maybe.
And that was like the third expansion in, and that was...
Yeah, but that's not... You're assuming that they started working on the Death Knight before...
My point is that you don't need a new class right now. You don't need to jump out with that giant of a change when you're already going strong. You got to slow play that like they did with World of Warcraft.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, they could take their time, but that's cool. If they're struggling for content, they could just be like, "Yeah, here's the Death Knight class. Go for it."
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I feel and let's be honest. It's a weird move to go with Heroes of the Storm, and it seems like a pretty weird move to go with Overwatch too, because Overwatch feels like just Team Fortress 3.
Yeah,
that's what it looks like to me.
That was my first impression too. It was very Team Fortressy.
Yeah, it's just the third iteration of Team Fortress, and it might even be better than Team Fortress 2. I think it could be.
But I mean, I see why they're trying to do it. I mean, they're trying to expand their player base to all kinds of genres. They want
this is Blizzard's
the MOBA.
First stab.
They want the first person. They want the MMO. They want the MOBA. I said MOBA already.
You already said that. I guess they. I guess this is more their second stab at a first-person game. Ghost never went anywhere.
Ghost?
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
StarCraft Ghost. It was basically going to be a first-person shooter in the StarCraft world.
Okay.
And you were going to be playing as a ghost, which is those special ops Silent.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I see. I was kind of... no, go ahead.
No, that's what I just said. Yep. That's it.
Oh, okay. I was gonna turn the tide of this conversation and say I'm kind of disappointed the League of Legends Riot wasn't there.
We were joking. It's like, they were just making too much money.
Yeah, they were like, we got this pile of money that we're trying to count, so we're not gonna be there.
We're too busy with the money. Sorry. No, I don't know. I don't know why they weren't there. I have no official... I did not do any research as to why. They did give us a Vel'Koz skin at least. Otherwise...
I mean, it was kind of strange that, last year, they had this huge... the booth took up, a lot of real estate.
And PAX 2014 felt like PAX 2014 / League of Legends.
Yeah, it was half League of Legends that was there.
And they had a riot room in PAX East.
They had motivators. They had crowd motivators.
Oh yeah. No, this year I'm talking about they had a riot room where all cosplayers could go to.
Oh, they did?
Get away from the crowds.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah. Well, if you weren't cosplaying, you couldn't go to the room.
Well, you could at least stand outside of it.
Yes, you could stand outside and just look in. Yes. But yeah, so I don't know. It was no League of Legends, which in some ways I'm kind of relieved because it did kill a lot of the crowd. There wasn't a huge giant entire corner of the expo was just people looking at the League booth.
That's true. I mean, it did alleviate a lot of the traffic.
Yeah.
People traffic.
Yeah.
What did you think of the indie booths this year?
Well, I actually did not spend a huge amount of time with them, but I did see some stuff. There was this one game, it was robots, and it was a turn-based strategy, and it was actually really good. And I can't remember what the hell it was called. Let's see.
I felt that the indie booths were kind of subpar this year.
Yeah.
It was definitely everything was very samey. So everything just felt...
Oh, there we go. Steam World Heist.
Okay.
Yeah, this is like a second game that they came out with, and I guess it's like kind of the same world and stuff, but now they're doing a turn-based shooter.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of vaguely remember that one. I kind of just wandered past it.
You don't really expect much, but I mean, it was actually a pretty decent game. I felt.
Okay.
So yeah, I'd keep a lookout for that if you guys want to try for some weird games.
Okay.
There was that other game. I don't know if you played it with me. It was like a Connect 3 game. It was like multiple people, and it was like basically trying to get through all the stones.
Okay.
Yeah. So bad at this. Didn't keep the business cards.
Yeah. There was one game that kind of caught my eye. It was called Pollen.
Uh-huh.
You see that one?
No.
So it's by MindfieldGames.com.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny, their handout, I still have their handout here, that's why I know them so well. They have their handout, it says recruitment application form. There's not really a form. It's more like how to qualify for an application. I don't know, it's kind of weird. So this game is sort of like Myst, I want to say. It's sort of like Myst. It's kind of puzzly. And I asked them, like, so do you progress in it? Or, like, is there a storyline to it? And they were like, yeah, there is. I was like, okay, what is it? So they were like, I don't know, they seemed to have a hard time trying to explain it. I mean, they kind of explained it, but it seemed very, I don't know, obtuse.
So a lot of games, are very, they get a concept and it's mildly original, and actually finding an original concept is pretty rare.
Yeah.
And they must be cultivated.
Yeah.
One must cultivate these. So when these people at these indie booths haven't fully formed these ideas yet, they just get straight to coding and they start to do this stuff, and they haven't worked out all the details and stuff. All of that stuff has to be you have to sit down and you have to think about it, and you have to come up with lore, and you have to create your own story. And, it's not like looking in a history book and be like, oh yeah, this game, happened back then. There's something, you don't look it up. It doesn't just happen naturally.
Yeah.
It has to be conjured. There's
an interesting concept to a game, which I thought was pretty cool. I don't think that they were at PAX, but it's worth mentioning. I don't remember if I've mentioned this game in previous episodes, but I'll mention it again anyways. It's called Effigy for a Dead World. Have you ever seen that?
No, you haven't mentioned that before.
Alright, so essentially what it is, it's kind of like it's a side-scrolling story game where you create your own story. And you can choose from, like, have you ever played Storybook Weaver when you were a kid?
Storybook Weaver.
Yeah. It's this game where you, like, basically write your own book, and it's got a lot of, like, clip art and shit that you could put onto each page, and you could be like, Susie went to the bus station today, and it's like, the background is a bus station, and then, like, you put a character in there, and then you have, like, some dialogue. So you kind of create your own story, right?
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, you're weaving your own storybook. That's the name of the game. Well, it seems like they sort of took that concept to the next level. So the way Effigy for a Dead World goes, let me just double check and make sure it's actually called that, because my memory can escape me sometimes. Actually, let me look it up here. Oh, it's Elegy. Okay, wow, I'm completely an idiot.
For a dead elegy?
No, it's Elegy. Elegy for a Dead World.
Okay.
Okay, let me look this up. Yeah, so Elegy for a Dead World. My apologies to anyone if I've horribly ruined that game. Ruined the name of the game. So essentially what it is, you're this dude. It's the creator is Dijo Bon Games. And I think they sounds familiar, and I think they make other things. But so what it is, they sent this guy. This guy is like a traveler in space and time, and he stumbles upon these worlds. And they're dead worlds, so the civilization that's lived on them has completely gone extinct, but there's like these sort of tablets or something like that kind of tells you about the world that existed prior to it, to its extinction. So what you do is you go in, at least in this game, in the game sense, like, as the player, you go to these tablets, and they allow you to kind of be creative and come up with a story behind the stuff that you see on the screen. So there might be like some statue, like these two giant statues, like in front, and then you come to this tablet and it says maybe, this world was inhabited by beings that worshipped, Zolos and Tugo, and they were their gods. You just make shit up.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool because I like that idea that you can have just a bare bones statement about the world, and then you just go nuts with your imagination and then let it run wild, and then you end up with these awesome storylines. And what you can do in this game, I think it's in beta right now, I want to say. It's not really out yet. It's like on Greenlight or something on Steam, and what you can do is read other people's stories for other worlds. So right now there's only like 3 or 4 worlds that you can visit, and you can recreate the storylines to fit a different story that you might want to create for that world.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily tied to any one specific thing. It just kind of gives... The world is essentially a way to give you... what is it? To give you, not motivation, but like... let the creative juices kind of come to you.
Yeah, so it seems to be like a game where it provides some... I'm looking it up right now. It has some very cool artwork. And
it looks gorgeous. Like, I have to say, I would buy this game just because of the artwork. Like,
and it allows you
the
basically...
worlds just look phenomenal.
And allows you to basically just see why, it's basically the entire population is gone, and this is what remains.
Yeah.
And you get to piece together a story from it, and, in this case, you're not an archaeologist doing scientifically finding out, you're just kind of drawing your own conclusions, and you're writing about it.
So it's little bits and pieces that you find. But there's a mode in the game, I forget what it's called, but there's like creative mode. And you go in and the tablets are completely blank. So you have to fill all that in. Mm-hmm. Or you can go into, another mode that will give you a basic storyline. You can choose from a list of different stories.
Yeah.
That kind of give you a hint of what to create. So it kind of gives you an idea of like things that you might want to write about. I don't know. It's a neat way to kind of be creative.
Yeah, and it looks like you can share your stories and create little like backgrounds for them and everything.
Yeah.
And
I kind of wish these guys. I kind of wish these guys were at PAX because that would have been awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be cool.
But like all the games that I saw at PAX. Like I said earlier, were kind of samey, and the way these creators come up with names for these games is like beyond me, because they essentially just throw some verbs and nouns in a hat, and they're like, yeah, this is good. Well, they're like, let's find the exact description of what this game does in like 3 words, and that's the name of the game. They don't put any creative thought into it.
Well, alright, so one thing is that these are indie games, okay, so there's like a crew of maybe 2 programmers. Often there's only 2 to 1 programmer at each game. The other thing, and then the rest of it is maybe an artist or, other things, or, they don't even have some guy for marketing,
You don't even need a marketing agent, though. Like, you don't need marketing. You just need someone who's creative that comes up with a good name.
Are not specialized in one thing or another. They're doing every job, and they're only going to be so good at certain points. especially with marketing. This is these people got into the business to be creative and create games, not to sell their game. They don't know how to. They're learning. The other thing about it is that, like I said earlier, originality is a very hard thing to come by. And when you do, it'll be pretty apparent. Otherwise, you might just kind of fade into the same oblivion of other games. And that's going to be the sad story of a lot of these indie games.
Yeah, I mean, it's either sink or rise. Yeah,
sink or swim.
Exactly.
Sink or rise. Okay.
Yeah, you rise to a greatness, or you sink to sadness.
Yeah,
that's how it works.
Sink or swim. That's the saying.
Yeah, I know. I'm making it up.
Sure.
Making my own.
Uh-huh.
I'm being original, Vero.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Getting back to this Pollen game, right? So basically it's kind of like an escape game. You're trying to escape this room, but and there's like all kinds of shit on the tables and stuff to explore, rooms to explore. You go upstairs, downstairs, you just find stuff. And I guess there's logs to read and stuff like that kind of give you a background.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It'd be interesting to play, like, as a demo. But
I'm
I don't know
looking
how
at
I
it.
feel about it. You know what I miss, Vero?
I think it has potential for storytelling.
You know what I miss?
What?
Free demos.
Free demos?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Well, when I was a kid, you used to, like, be able to download a temporary demo, and you'd play the game for a little bit, and they're like, oh, if you like it, you can buy the game. I'm like, okay. Sometimes that would happen. And, like for instance, there was, like, demos for Duke Nukem and demos for, like, Cosmos Adventure and stuff like that. And you just play, like, maybe a level out of all the levels in the full game. Or, like, there's Commander Keen. Commander Keen had a demo that you could play, and it was just, like, one part of a level or one whole level. And it didn't need to be, like, the first level. It could be, like, one of the levels in the middle. It didn't matter. The whole point was to kind of give you an idea of what the game was like, and then let you buy it if you wanted it. And then they would give you like a little thing at the end saying, "Thanks for playing. Here's how to buy the game if you like it."
Yeah.
They don't do that anymore.
Yeah. I remember back in the day, PC Gamer, my friend had a subscription to it, so he would go get his little CD full of demos, and then like I would just take the CD after him and stuff, and I'd get to play them.
Yeah, exactly. The demos were awesome.
They were fun. They were cool. But I don't know. I think that eventually game companies wised up to the fact that if people demoed the game, then they were less likely to buy it because then they got their taste, and then they realized that it's not going to be much more than that.
I don't agree with that. I think it was because of digital content.
If I had a demo of Titanfall instead of just those awesome trailers, I wouldn't have bought the game.
Well, that's a different case, though. With multiplayers, demos are, like, a lot harder to do. You'd have to give, like, a certain amount of time, or let a player go to, like, level 10 or something like that, and then basically cap it out.
The horrible thing with Titanfall was, aside from maps and maybe a few extra weapons, the demo would have given you pretty much the full game, and that's it. You know?
Well, I would say that Titanfall is a bad example to use as that.
But if they had given a demo,
in and of itself is kind of just a shitty game, in my opinion.
It's not a shitty game. It's just so narrow-minded. It's got a great design. It's really well implemented. It's even, like, the controls are great and everything, but it's just like, all right, and that's it.
Right, but everything that's what I'm saying.
Everything else is repetition. So they got this incredible product that they polished off, and then they sold it like COD, and it was just like, what? No.
Well, that's the thing. Like, you could have a gorgeous looking game, but if the content only lasts like a week at the most, then it's a shitty game. If you have like okay graphics and people love it and they're flocking to it, like Minecraft, then it's a good game. It's a successful game. It doesn't matter how good the graphics are. You have to have good content behind it, something that holds the player's attention for more than a week or a month. And you can't... See, here's a caveat, though. If you have a good game, but it only, like, the content only lasts, like, so long, then you're forced into creating more and more content on a more regular basis. Like World of Warcraft, you know? You have to keep pumping that out to get people to stay playing with it. Otherwise, they'll get bored of it. Mm-hmm. I mean, that holds true with any game, but I think... I feel the quality of any given game is dictated by, you know, a number of things. It's not just one or two things. But one big thing that kind of drives a quality of the game to success is its ability to keep you engaged without having to constantly add and berate you with content. If you can do that, then it's a successful game in my mind.
Well, so another thing at PAX East I did was I visited the Life is Feudal booth. And
I saw that. I wasn't too impressed.
I haven't gotten into it yet. You know, I've seen the trailers and I'm like, oh man, it's like Minecraft but with better graphics and you know, and based in the feudal age. And it's like, okay, all right, maybe this could be cool. And you know, ratings on the game are amazing for at least in the Steam reviews. But so the thing is like, okay, great. But I did take the time to look at the website when I went to the booth and I talked to the guy there and he was like, you know, he saw my enthusiasm for it and he's like, all right, you know, if you instead of giving you a T-shirt, I'll give you the game if you post a picture of those people in the knight's armor on Facebook, you know, on your Facebook, you know, free advertising.
Really?
Yeah. So they gave me the game, and I tried it out, and like I've only spent an hour, and just to kind of see what the game is like, and it feels kind of like it feels a little bit like Rust in some ways.
Okay, I can see that.
But the crafting system is much more expanded, and then the other thing is that you have stats for everything. You're pretty much like an RPG character in the game.
So it's essentially an MMO, right? Like an MMO Rust.
So what it looks like is that they've released your Life is Feudal Your Own, which means that you can go into a server up to 64 players. And then what they're going to do is they're going to release a Life is Feudal MMORPG.
Okay.
And essentially it's going to be like, you know, one persistent world. So
I feel like you could easily troll that.
Well,
no.
The thing is that
trolls.
The thing is that it's supposed to be like that. So what's going to happen is basically they put a system in where if you kill people, then you get a damage penalty or like a death penalty. Where if you die, you're going to lose a lot more stats to your guy. If you're like a bad person and you rob people. But
I'm not talking about robbing people and killing people as trolling. I'm talking about building shit that will troll people.
I don't know. I don't know how they're gonna do that. But I mean, like, I think that the game does a good job of putting realism to it. So like, anything you build in the game takes time, a lot of time to do. So like, it's persistent in like a real world aspect where, you know, you can't just knock down a wall just like that. But at the same time, with some time and effort, you could probably break down a door. You know, if you had like you know, the right amount of tools and stuff too.
Okay.
So, you know, like that, like DayZ and everything like that, you know, not DayZ, H1Z1, where you can make shelters and stuff, and it takes time to break through those shelters.
Okay. Yeah, but don't you envision people just building penises everywhere? I mean, like, that's what I would see. I feel like that's what I would think people would do.
They might build penises.
They would
I don't know.
Build penises everywhere.
I mean, we are very phallic-central people.
Yeah. And then, of course, you get one troll who builds a penis, and then another troll that builds a vagina right next to it.
And then one troll who just builds a bigger penis.
And another troll that builds an arrow pointing towards the vagina.
Yes. But what I'm seeing here is that I'm just kind of seeing a pattern. So I want to bring this into spec, and now I want to bring back into something that's just come out. Elite Dangerous just came out with the Wings add-on or the expansion, which is not something you pay for. You get it with the game, the base game, but they just came out with it, and that's going to allow us to do team play now, finally, where we can hunt together and we can trade in packs together and so forth, and up to 4 people. And I think that's great, and I think that this is kind of like the next evolution of MMORPGs too, is that instead of basing everything on just a number, it's going to be based on multiple ways of interacting with somebody in a certain environment where instead of you're put into a game, you're put into a simulation.
Okay.
Like Elite Dangerous, it's an amazing piece of software, but it's more like a simulation than it is a game. It's a simulation of a world, and that's what's so great about it, because it's so much immersion, and it allows you to do things in that world like you would in real life if you were really in that world. Like, you want to dock with something, you don't just have a computer do it, you have to fly it in yourself, and you have to counter for rotation and everything, and if you don't, then you're going to crash and die, and if you don't follow the rules, then there's penalties and so forth. And it's not like a game where it's like it just won't let you break the rules. It'll let you break the rules, and then you'll pay the penalty for it.
Right.
And that's what it seems to be now, is that games are developing ways of making it so that there's like not an enforcement of rules, but there's consequences to breaking a natural state of rules.
Okay.
A natural moral code.
Yeah, I see where you're going with that. But, I really like the updates that they've made to Elite Dangerous so far.
We do need to get into that game again, and experience it.
Well, once people start tiring with Minecraft, then we'll
that's the goal. Is I'm playing Minecraft nonstop now until eventually my brain's like, you know what, you're done with this. You've done it again. You've beaten Minecraft.
It's gonna be a while though, I feel.
Yeah, you know what I'm doing right now? I'm creating a tunnel network to put in an underground network of infrastructure for the town.
Yeah, I need to kill the Gaia spirit and make a tiara, which will give me flight.
A tiara to make you pretty?
It's gonna make me the prettiest princess in the entire world of Minecraft.
I should mention.
You're jealous.
That we're playing.
I know you're jealous right now. So.
Dude,
whatever.
I have a thermostatic harness, so
yeah,
it's better.
I've got magical armor, so whatever. I have a Terra Steel blade, which owns everything. But anyways,
we're playing the FTB Infinity mod, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, we got to meet Direwolf 20 at PAX.
Before we get into that, I have some things I want to say about Elite Dangerous, though.
Okay.
Because I saw a video today about the new ships that they added. And they added a ship called the Vulture, and I think another one that was called the Fer-de-Lance, I think. Something like that. The Vulture looks amazing. It looks like the ultimate in bounty hunting flight, or bounty hunting ships. The reason I say that is because it's fast, and it also has it only has 2 hard points for weapons, but it's 2 large hard points. So that's going to be huge, man. If you get 1 beam laser,
sounds expensive,
and 1 multi-cannon, you will just shred through stuff because of the largeness of these hard points.
Because of the largeness.
Yeah.
Vast.
And it looks really cool. Like, I think the ship looks fantastic.
Yeah.
They have some fantastic artists there, I swear. And, like, have you ever seen videos of people flying near black holes?
No, I haven't seen the black holes.
That shit blows your mind, dude. Because they don't quite have it down to the fact that they have, like, the rotating, what are they called? They're like discs of debris. I forget what this, some kind of disc.
Mm-hmm.
Blink
I know what
on the
you're
name
talking
of it.
Yeah.
But anyways, so they don't really have that quite down at all. I mean, it's just essentially a fixed point black hole, but it like distorts all the light around you, and when you get close to it, it doesn't let you fly into it though. I mean, you can sort of, but you can't FTL it into it. Yeah. It just takes you out of warp, and then you can fly away from it. It'll be a while. Like the time mechanics are not quite there yet, because it should like warp your space time and all that stuff. But whatever. Yeah. Maybe someday. But I find it really cool that it like distorts the light around it and gives it like some weird like reddish look and purplish look. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Okay.
They have there are people that post like locations of where the black holes are. So you like go to different solar systems and check it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyways, getting back to Minecraft. The Feed the Beast pack, right? So we're playing the Feed the Beast launcher, or the Feed the Beast pack of mods.
Infinity 1.1 now.
Yeah, Infinity. It's up to like 1.2 though. Our server's not up that high though.
We're doing 1.1 because it's stable build.
Yeah. So we're playing that. It has like 158 some odd mods, which is crazy, but they're awesome mods. Like some of these mod makers are just insanely talented. And they make such complex mods. It's crazy. So anyways, the creator I think is Direwolf20, but he also does a lot of spotlights, and he has a whole bunch of like friends that make a whole bunch of mods. It's really phenomenal. And they threw this pack together. They threw this launcher together. It basically launches Minecraft, preloaded with all these mods and stuff like that. You can start servers, you can join the servers, etc. It's pretty cool. And actually at PAX we got to meet Direwolf20, and he's a really cool guy. And I hope someday we can have him on our show at some point.
We also met Slowpoke.
Yeah, Slowpoke. Yeah, he's another one that plays with Direwolf20 a lot. I've seen some of his videos. He does a good job too, and I forget what mods he makes. He makes some
I think it's
cool mods.
Forgecraft.
Does he?
I'm not sure.
Let's see. I could probably tell you.
Forgecraft is
CPW.
Forgecraft is a set of whitelisted servers for mod developers to gather and beta test their mods in a private environment. Okay, so it's just like it's part of a... Never mind. Yeah, Slowpoke is part of it, though.
Yeah. Well, let me, scroll down. But anyways, yeah, there's a whole bunch of mod makers that do a lot of really cool stuff. Like Tinker's Construct is pretty cool. Like, you have a forge, and you just make awesome weapons and stuff. I'm surprised you can't forge your own armor, though. I feel like that's eventually going to be put in. Not sure if they're going to do that, though.
You can't forge your own armor?
No, you can't forge armor with Tinker's Construct.
Oh well. I mean, so the games the mods are pretty crazy, and, seeing as I haven't played Minecraft in forever, just playing some of the vanilla stuff of Minecraft has gotten a little crazy. Like, the Wither bosses, like, holy crap.
The Wither's part of stock Minecraft, though.
Yeah, I've never dealt with those before.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I never did the Ender Dragon or anything like that.
Yeah, I never have either. I feel like the build up to get to those vanilla bosses is actually pretty difficult.
It is. I hear it is, and but I also Greg beat the Ender Dragon the other day, yesterday.
Oh, really? On his own?
Yeah.
Wow. All right.
Yep. Pretty much. Anyway,
you know what mod I've been really loving? This mod called Big Reactors.
Oh yeah, you've been making so many reactors.
It just generates so much power. It's crazy. It's a large multi-block power generation machine.
I don't even use power, so I don't even know.
Yeah. So it generates redstone flux, or RF, and it's a multi-block structure, so you can make them as big as you want. You can throw as many yellorium rods or whatever in there, and you set up the controllers and stuff. And the cool thing is that it interacts with some of the other mods. So you could set it up with ComputerCraft and have a computer control the reactor itself and determine if it has this much power in its capacitor, then you turn it off. If it doesn't, then turn it on. It's pretty cool. It's very versatile.
Does an alarm ever go off for big reactor, by the way?
I could have it do that. I just don't have the code for it.
Because I'm pretty sure, at one point I was near your reactor and there was an alarm going off.
No, I don't have one set up now, so I don't know what you heard.
I heard an alarm, man. I heard it. Anyway, I think that's a good stopping point.
Yeah? Alright. Yeah, so we talked a lot about...
We talked for about an hour.
Some pretty cool stuff. But yeah, so also we did take part... Before we end, I do want to mention, we did take part in the Minecraft experience, the
PAX East competition thing?
Yeah, the PAX East competition.
Which is the PAX South map, by the way.
Yeah.
Anybody can download it on the FTB client and play it.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard.
It's very difficult. A lot of parkour aspects to that map. Yep. So. Alright, well, yeah, so I think we can wrap up today, and we'll come back next month.
See you then.
Alright. Thanks for listening, and enjoy the rest of your day.
And remember... No, I don't know. Never mind. Don't do that.
And remember...
I don't have the quote anymore.
Nothing.
What the hell is the quote? Oh yeah. If there was ever a problem Guinness couldn't solve, you didn't drink enough Guinness.